Every man thinks he understands women until he meets the one who tests his patience, his confidence, and his emotions all at once. The truth is, women don't fall for looks or money. They fall for how a man makes them feel. And if you truly want to understand what makes a woman weak for you, you must learn the unspoken rules, the secrets she'll never admit, but always responds to. So today, I'll reveal 10 secret female weaknesses that most men overlook. And once you understand these, you'll never chase validation again because she'll start chasing you. A woman's deepest weakness isn't a man's looks, money, or charm. It's emotional security. This truth sits at the core of female psychology, yet so many men overlook it because they're too busy chasing surface-level attraction. Emotional security means a woman feels safe to be her authentic self around you, safe to express, to be vulnerable, to trust that her emotions won't be used against her. It's not about promising her the world. It's about being the kind of man whose presence feels like peace, not pressure. When a woman meets a man who provides that feeling of calm assurance, her walls begin to drop. She may have built those walls through years of disappointment, men who only wanted her body, men who disappeared when she opened up, or men who made her feel too emotional for being human. So when she finds a man who listens without judgment, who doesn't flinch at her emotional intensity, and who makes her feel understood instead of analyzed, that's when she becomes emotionally attached. This is her true weakness, not because she's fragile, but because connection is the most powerful emotional need she has. Most men think power means dominance. They assume being strong means being unemotional or distant. But strength in the feminine world is defined differently. To her, strength is a man's ability to remétier, grounded no matter how chaotic life gets. It's in the tone of his voice when she's upset. It's in the patience he shows when she's overwhelmed. It's in the steadiness of his energy when she's feeling insecure. Emotional security is not something you say you can give. It's something she feels from how you carry yourself. Think about it. When a man is reactive, defensive, or easily angered, she instantly feels unsafe. Her instinct tells her to protect herself. But when a man can stay calm, communicate with clarity, and hold space for her emotions, he becomes magnetic. That calm energy is like gravity. It pulls her in, even when she tries to resist. A woman wants to know that she can be emotional without losing you, that she can be herself without fear of rejection. This doesn't mean you should tolerate disrespect or emotional chaos. True emotional security comes with boundaries. It's about being empathetic yet firm, kind but not a pushover. When you can calmly say, "I understand how you feel, but I won't allow you to talk to me like that," you create respect. Women are deeply drawn to men who know how to lead emotionally, not through control but through composure. Emotional security also comes from consistency. She notices how you respond when she texts, when plans change, or when life gets stressful. She watches to see if you stay the same person you were at the start, confident, grounded, attentive, or if you slowly become distant and unpredictable. A man's consistency is what builds her trust. When she knows what to expect from you, her nervous system relaxes. That's when attraction transforms into attachment. The irony is, the more emotionally secure you are, the less you'll have to do to keep her interest. Because emotional security is rare, it stands out in a world full of ego-driven men. When you master this quality, you stop chasing love and start attracting it naturally. You become the kind of man a woman feels safe to love deeply, not because you demand it, but because your energy makes her want to In the end, emotional security isn't about being perfect. It's about being stable. It's about understanding that your calmness is her comfort, your patience is her safety, and your emotional awareness is her weakness. When a woman finds a man who can give her that, she won't just admire him, she'll trust him, respect him, and open her heart to him completely. Confidence without arrogance is one of the rarest and most powerful traits a man can possess. It's what silently draws a woman in, even before he says a word. True confidence doesn't need validation, it doesn't need to announce itself, and it doesn't crumble when challenged. It's quiet, steady, and deeply rooted in self-awareness. When a man knows who he is, what he stands for, and what he will or won't tolerate, he naturally becomes magnetic. A woman senses this energy instantly because it communicates something most men fail to express: inner peace and strength. Arrogance, on the other hand, is insecurity in disguise. It's loud, defensive, and desperate for recognition. An arrogant man needs to be seen. A confident man simply is. Women are intuitive. They can tell when confidence is authentic and when it's a mask. You can't fake the kind of confidence that comes from self-respect and emotional maturity. It's not about walking into a room thinking you're better than everyone. It's about walking in and not needing to compare yourself to anyone. That's the energy that captivates a woman, the kind that says, "I know my value, and I don't need to prove it." When a man is truly confident, his presence brings calm instead of chaos. He's not trying to dominate a conversation or impress anyone with material things. His confidence is expressed through eye contact, body language, and emotional composure. He listens more than he speaks because he doesn't need to fill the silence with noise. He's grounded in who he is, and that quiet self-assurance gives a woman the emotional signal that she can trust him. She knows he won't crumble under pressure or be easily influenced by others. Confidence without arrogance also shows in how a man treats people. It's easy to act self-assured around someone you want to impress, but real confidence is revealed in how you treat those who can offer you nothing. The waiter, the stranger, the person others ignore. A woman notices these moments even if she doesn't mention them. They tell her everything she needs to know about your character. A man who respects everyone shows that his confidence comes from integrity, not ego. What most men don't realize is that arrogance is repellent to feminine energy. It creates emotional distance because arrogance feels unsafe. It's unpredictable and self-centered. Women may initially be drawn to the appearance of confidence in arrogant men, but that attraction fades the moment she senses emotional immaturity. A confident man, however, creates attraction that lasts. He doesn't seek validation from her. He already validates himself. He doesn't chase her approval. He invites her energy by being authentic, and that authenticity becomes his greatest strength. Confidence also means embracing vulnerability. It's not about pretending to have everything figured out, but being honest enough to say, "I'm working on it." That level of transparency builds deep trust. A woman feels safe with a man who can admit his flaws, but is still grounded in his worth. Confidence without arrogance is not perfection. It's balance. It's strength with softness, leadership with humility, dominance with empathy. You see, arrogance seeks control, but confidence offers direction. The arrogant man forces connection. The confident man attracts it. The arrogant man talks about what he deserves. The confident man works for it. The arrogant man, needs to win. The confident man needs to grow. And that difference changes everything in how women perceive you. When a man operates from true confidence, he doesn't fear losing anyone. He understands that his value doesn't depend on external approval. That's why women find him irresistible. He doesn't chase, he attracts. He's not moved by temporary attention. He's guided by long-term vision. This kind of confidence can't be taught overnight. It's built through discipline, integrity, and emotional awareness. In the end, women aren't drawn to the man who thinks he's better than others. They're drawn to the man who's at peace with himself. Confidence without arrogance is magnetic because it's rare. It's the kind of energy that commands respect without asking for it, the kind that makes a woman feel secure without needing reassurance. When you master that balance, when you move through life with quiet strength and humble confidence, you don't have to chase connection. You become the connection. Presence and attention are two of the most powerful forces in human connection, yet they are also the rarest qualities a man can offer a woman. In a world where everyone is distracted, scrolling, checking notifications, half listening, genuine presence has become a luxury. For a woman, the man who can give her his full attention stands out immediately. It's not just about hearing her words, it's about feeling her emotions, reading what's unsaid, and being fully tuned into the moment with her. Presence is the art of making her feel like she's the only person in the world when you're together. When a man is truly present, his energy tells her, "You matter." Women are emotional communicators. They don't just listen to what you say. They feel your tone, your body language, your silence. When you look at your phone while she's talking, when you nod without truly listening, when your mind is elsewhere, she senses it instantly. To her, that lack of attention translates as disinterest. But when you listen with your eyes, when you respond thoughtfully, when you remember the small things she tells you, that's when she starts to trust you emotionally. Attention becomes affection to a woman. Presence is also about emotional availability. You can't connect deeply if you're emotionally absent. Many men try to appear strong by being detached, thinking it makes them seem in control. But in reality, that emotional distance pushes women away. A woman's natural instinct is to connect, to feel closeness. When she feels your attention, she feels your presence. When she feels your presence, she feels your care. And that care is what builds the emotional bond she craves. Being present doesn't mean fixing her problems or always knowing what to say. It means being there fully, without judgment, when she needs to express herself. Sometimes, all she needs is your calm energy, not your advice. The masculine tendency to solve everything often makes women feel misunderstood. But the man who can simply hold space, who can listen, nod, and say, "I understand why you feel that way," becomes her emotional safe haven. This kind of presence speaks louder than words because it tells her she's safe to be vulnerable. The truth is, presence is power. It shows emotional intelligence, self-control, and maturity. Most men are either too distracted or too self-centered to master it. But when you learn to give undivided attention, you build connection on a level that goes far beyond attraction. It makes a woman feel valued in a way that no compliment or gift ever could. Because attention isn't about doing something big. It's about consistency in the small things. Noticing her mood, remembering what she likes, catching her micro expressions. These are the moments that tell her, "You see me." A woman's weakness isn't attention in general. It's authentic attention. She can tell when you're pretending to listen just to get close to her. But when you're at her, attention comes from genuine curiosity and care. It disarms her. It melts her defenses. It makes her want to open up. Women feel emotionally connected to men who are present because presence equals safety. It tells her that you're grounded, that you're not living in your head, and that you can be trusted with her heart. Presence also applies to how you carry yourself in life. When you walk into a room, are you truly there, confident, aware, calm, or are you overthinking how others perceive you? The same energy you bring to your daily life is the energy she feels when she's around you. If you're restless, insecure, or distracted, she feels it. But if you're centered, focused, and present, she relaxes in your energy. She feels led, not pressured. Ultimately, presence and attention are not skills you fake. They're states of being that come from emotional control and self-respect. A man who is at peace with himself naturally becomes attentive to others. His energy is stable. His focus is real. And that presence, that calm, intentional awareness becomes a woman's emotional weakness. Because every woman longs for a man who makes her feel seen, not just looked at, heard, not just listened to, valued, not just wanted. When you master presence, you don't need to chase her attention. She'll be drawn to yours. Emotional control is one of the strongest signs of true masculinity, yet it's also one of the hardest traits for most men to master. Many men confuse emotional control with emotional suppression, thinking that being strong means showing no feelings at all. But in reality, emotional control isn't about being cold or distant. It's about being composed, grounded, and in command of your reactions. It's the ability to stay calm when everything around you is trying to provoke a reaction. And to a woman, this quality is irresistible because it makes her feel safe. Women are emotional beings by nature. They express, they feel deeply, they react from intuition and emotion. This doesn't make them weak. It's part of their feminine design. But because emotions can fluctuate, women are naturally drawn to men who remain stable through those emotional storms. When you can stay calm while she's upset, when you respond with clarity instead of chaos, you instantly earn her trust and respect. She feels that your presence can anchor her, that you won't fall apart when things get tough. That's emotional leadership, and it's what every feminine woman subconsciously seeks. Many men fail in relationships not because they lack love or effort, but because they lack composure. When she pulls away, they panic. When she tests them emotionally, they react with anger or desperation. But what most men don't realize is that those emotional tests aren't attacks, they're questions. She's asking, can I trust your strength? Can I rely on your calmness when I'm not calm? When you meet those moments with control, not chaos, she feels secure. But when you let emotions rule you, when you shout, chase, or act needy, she begins to lose faith in your leadership. True emotional control comes from self-awareness. It means understanding your emotions instead of letting them control you. When something triggers you, pause before reacting. Breathe. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Because most emotional outbursts are just ego-driven responses. The need to be right, the fear of losing control, the hunger for validation. A man who controls his emotions doesn't need to win every argument. He focuses on maintaining peace and respect. That energy is powerful, and women feel it immediately. Emotional control also builds respect. When a man can stay calm in conflict, people listen to him differently. His tone carries authority, not aggression. His words hold weight because they come from a place of thought, not impulse. Women admire men who handle pressure gracefully, who can remain calm under fire, kind under stress, and composed under rejection. It shows strength of character, not weakness. A man who can't control his emotions becomes unpredictable. A man who can control them becomes dependable. However, control doesn't mean numbness. Women want to feel your emotions. They just don't want to drown in them. It's perfectly fine to express frustration, sadness, or disappointment, but do it with maturity. Say what you feel, not what your anger tells you to say. Express, but don't explode. Share, but don't overshare. The right woman won't think less of you for being human. She'll think more of you for knowing how to handle your humanity. When a man masters emotional control, his energy shifts. He becomes the calm in the storm, the one who can lead without forcing, love without losing himself, and handle pressure without breaking. This kind of man doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't react. He responds. And that response is what sets him apart from the rest. In the end, emotional control is not about perfection. It's about power. It's about knowing that your peace is your strength and no one should have the power to take it away. When you operate from that space, you attract women who are drawn to your emotional stability because deep down, every woman desires one thing from a man: safety, not physical safety alone, but emotional safety. And that only comes from a man who is in control of himself. When you master that, you become the man she trusts, respects, and ultimately cannot forget. Purpose-driven masculinity is the foundation of a man's strength, confidence, and identity. It's the invisible force that gives direction to his life, discipline to his actions, and clarity to his emotions. A man without purpose drifts. He chases attention, pleasure, and validation, but always ends up feeling empty. A man with purpose, on the other hand, doesn't chase. He attracts. His focus, his drive, and his consistency naturally command respect. And to a woman, this is one of the most powerful forms of masculine energy. A man who knows where he's going and doesn't lose himself along the way. When a man lives with purpose, everything about him changes. His presence becomes magnetic because he moves with intention. He's not easily swayed by emotions or outside noise. He's grounded in something bigger than himself, a mission, a vision, a sense of meaning. That kind of energy creates emotional stability. A woman feels drawn to it because it gives her something she can trust. A purpose-driven man doesn't depend on a relationship for fulfillment. He brings fulfillment into the relationship, and that difference is everything. Most men lose attraction not because they lack looks or charm, but because they lose direction. They become so focused on winning a woman's approval that they forget their own mission. But masculine energy thrives on progress. The moment a man abandons his purpose for a person, he begins to lose the very strength that made him attractive in the first place. A woman may love your heart, but she'll respect your purpose. Without purpose, you become emotionally unstable, reactive, and uncertain. And feminine energy cannot feel safe in that environment. Purpose-driven masculinity is not about being obsessed with success or status. It's about alignment, knowing what drives you and living according to your principles. It's waking up every day with a reason beyond comfort or convenience. When you have that fire, that sense of direction, you naturally stand out. You walk differently, you talk differently, and your energy feels certain. That certainty is what women find irresistible. It's not arrogance, it's inner stability. It's a man saying through his actions, I know who I am and I know where I'm going. Women test men not to manipulate them, but to see if they can handle distraction without losing focus. When she argues, when she pulls away, when life throws chaos your way, that's the universe checking if your purpose is strong enough to keep you centered. A man without purpose reacts emotionally. A man with purpose stays grounded. He doesn't need to prove his worth because he's too busy living it. He's not thrown off by temporary rejection or failure because he knows his mission is bigger than any moment. That quiet confidence creates an aura that women feel, the energy of a man who's not chasing love but walking his path with discipline and vision. A purpose-driven man also leads by example. He doesn't tell people what to do. he shows them. His discipline speaks louder than his words. He respects his time, his energy, and his values. He doesn't waste his life seeking approval because he already has self-approval. That's the kind of man who inspires others, not because he tries to, but because his life radiates direction. To a woman, that leadership is deeply attractive because it represents emotional and psychological safety. She can relax in his energy because she knows he won't lose himself in her. He's already complete. The most powerful relationships are not built on dependency, but on two people walking their own purposeful paths side by side. When a man knows his purpose, he doesn't need a woman to complete him. He chooses a woman who complements him. His love comes from abundance, not from emptiness. And that's the kind of love that women crave, even if they can't explain it. In the end, purpose-driven masculinity is not about controlling life. It's about aligning with it. It's about waking up with meaning, acting with integrity, and living with direction. A man who has a mission cannot be easily broken, manipulated, or forgotten. His energy feels rare, and that rarity becomes his power, because in a world full of men chasing comfort, the one who chases purpose becomes unforgettable. And to a woman, that man isn't just attractive, he's magnetic.